So let's go find some Destiny quotes here then. Destiny's opinion that Daenerys Targaryen never struggled through anything, and it's a low IQ position to bring up the fact that she was raped. Pathanziel, I wonder what Destiny's line of reasoning would be, though. I assume he must have some reason to say rape wouldn't count as suffering.
So, like, for instance, like a really basic take might be, Daenerys struggled a lot because she got raped. And it's like, okay, but was a rape, like, did a rape really end in anything bad at all in Game of Thrones? Like, for instance, here would be like an example of like Daenerys like struggling due to her rape. Maybe Daenerys has like a battle that she needs to win, and there's a male general that she could trust that would like lead her to victory, but she's distrustful of men because she was raped. That would be an example of like a struggle.
The act itself of being raped isn't suffering. It's only suffering and going through some hardship if at some point in the future that rape impacted her in some other tangible way. And his example, I believe, was, for example, her not being able to trust some male general or something because she's worried he might rape her or something. I think that was almost exactly what he thought was the case. But, like, my point about this is, like, no, that's not how that fucking works. All right, like, I'm captured by the enemy and I'm tortured for the entire time that I'm there, and then I'm released. And then I go back to my service and I spend the next 20 years doing my job. Are you trying to say I didn't suffer? Fuck you. That's not how that works.
I mean, he almost falls into the objective good storytelling, objective bad storytelling type thing.
Just saw Captain Marvel. I wonder sometimes if writers' push for inclusivity makes them afraid to write a female protagonist that actually struggles. Felt the same with Rey from Star Wars and maybe Daenerys from Game of Thrones. We'll talk about it more on stream tonight.
Was there any point in that movie, at any point in time, where you're like, oh shit, she might actually be fucked here? Did this ever happen with her? Ever? There's not a single moment in that entire movie, if you're being honest with yourself, would you ever feel like she's in danger.
So in Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel movie, there's not a single point in that entire film where you ever feel like Captain Marvel is in danger. Why might you think that? Why? Like, I want to know, why is it he thinks that at no point during that movie was Captain Marvel in any form of real danger? Oh, because he's going to go off in a minute here about how Iron Man, Black Panther, and a few others had their chance at losing. No, that's perfect. The scene where the Overmind has her trapped, she almost lost. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Yeah. Like, but you're like, but she was the hero. She was going to get out of that. Well, Tony Stark's the hero of Iron Man. We're going to see him get out of every movie. Like, until it's narratively the case that he shouldn't. Like, but I mean, if you go into a movie with the concept in your mind that we're watching a superhero movie, we're going to watch them win. Like, you've defeated the purpose of watching a movie. Like, you can't leave your seat for 2 seconds to, like, enter the film. Because people would be, like, looking at Iron Man and be like, hey, look, there was real stakes there. And then they look at these movies like, well, you just know they're not going to win or they're not going to lose because it's a superhero movie. Well, but you didn't have that position about Iron Man when the same thing was true.
And that's why that lack of feeling, that like, it always feels like she's ready to do some crazy shit. It always feels like she's got some super mystical magic power shit. I mean, kind of when the alien guys were fucking with her memories.
That's at the start of the film.
I mean,
that's literally like one of the first opening scenes. Is her being like fucked with in the head. It's like in the first 15 minutes of the film. And I gotta be honest with you, that wasn't a scene where I felt like shit's gonna go down. How worried were you that the Guardians of the Galaxy were actually just gonna be locked up for life?
Like,
the purpose of putting them in jail is so that you can actually see what they're actually going, like what they're made of individually. Just like how capturing your main character in Captain Marvel and having her escape shows what she's capable of. If that's a scene where you were like, maybe she was in real danger there, you don't understand movies.
Maybe for like a whole 1 or 2 minutes tops, but even at that, she broke out of that on her own, killed everybody on that ship.
She didn't kill anybody.
On her own, blew up that ship on her own.
She didn't blow up the ship.
Got all of her stuff back on her own. Like, nothing in that ship was a threat to her whatsoever.
Except for the fact that they captured her and stole memories from her and basically could have killed her. But no, nothing on that ship could have harmed her.
Brainwashing isn't like a real problem. I mean, like a character constantly trying to rediscover themselves that's a struggle. Storyline. Yeah.
How is Iron Man being kidnapped and escaping such a Iron not similar to Daenerys' situation of being sold into the Horde and learning to stand up to the call and her brother in terms of character growth and struggle? I feel like if we go back to Iron Man, I feel like there are moments in Iron Man.
You hate Captain Marvel because of her flat ass, don't you?
Was her ass really flat?
I love how this stops him for a moment. What? Wait, was it?
I feel like
How much you want to bet he actually Googled it? Was that what he's doing right there?
100% guarantee that he Googled her ass.
I feel like Tony's struggle is struggling with. Isn't Tony's main struggle like his narcissism or whatever versus his narcissism versus his I guess like his relationships with other people.
So internal struggles are okay for Iron Man, but nobody else.
Yeah, and yeah, that
Dealing with your
100%.
internal narcissism and your complicated relationships with other people's, and is in no way analogous to dealing with your personal struggle of who you really are and how that impacts whether or not you can actually maintain friendships or interpersonal relationships with anybody else because you don't even know who the fuck you are. What the fuck?
Totally different. Well, I mean, like, one of those two definitely has a penis.
I have the same problem with Black Panther. No stakes at Destiny.
So
no,
watch this.
wait.
This is the most half-hearted. No, I believe that Black Panther had tons of stuff. So I'm gonna look at like a scene that's like 30 seconds long at the most, and then assert. No, this is character development. Watch.
Come on. I think
I
that.
know.
Well, why was Black Panther able to beat the one guy the second time around?
Why was he
What
able to win
changed?
the second time? What changed?
What did he learn?
Biggie.
How did he come back and beat the guy?
Yeah, how
Was
Destiny?
his talk with his
How did he
dad?
come back and
What
beat
does he
him?
end up learning?
What did he learn?
Why, Baba?
Why? Pop?
No, this is character development, right?
He's like, I learned my dad was an asshole. I don't
Yeah.
agree with that. I'm now strong enough to beat the guy who beat me. I just love how he's just like, he watches this one scene where the only thing that changes is Black Panther learns that his dad was an actual asshole. And then he uses that strength knowing that his dad was wrong to correct that wrong by killing the person who his dad wronged.
Yeah,
Now,
but also
this sounds like I'm massively critiquing Black Panther. I find Black Panther amazing. Destiny's opinion about why Black Panther's narrative is good is dumb.
He's basically this is like Locke's character kind of, right, in D&D.
Oh my god. No, I forgot about that part. The reason why it's good narrative is because I draw an analogy to my personal D&D character.
He probably grew up thinking like his family was like super perfect, super pure, super holy, super awesome, and then he grows up and he realizes that there's kind of like his family's been involved in dirt as well that they should have been more forthcoming about, right? The acknowledging, right, because he acknowledges this with his father, and then he has to like clean up his father's mistakes or whatever, right? This is like his character development, right?
So let me draw an analogy. Carol Danvers doesn't know who she is
Yes.
her entire life, or rather the entire movie, I should say. She's been living this other life her whole time. She's been struggling with the fact that she's got weird memories. She doesn't know why the hive mind intelligence appears like somebody she doesn't know. All these other things just don't add up and make sense to her. And she comes to realization that her current life is not the pretty, pristine thing that she was led to believe it was, and that it's actually dark and dirty and grimy. And she rises and overcomes that after realizing her true self. But no, that's not character development, because she got some boobies.
I still feel like
Yeah.
The Matrix probably does this. The Matrix.
No,
does
the
this
Matrix
really
does not
well.
do this really well.
So does
We've talked about this. The Matrix does not do this well. The Matrix relies on an incredibly horrible trope for men in order to push Neo into the direction he needs to go in order to win. It's almost like it was written not by straight people for a movie about straight people. Hey, there's an argument for representation in everything. We should have straight people writing straight stories and gay people writing gay stories. Why? They might have the best possible ideas about what way to portray that.
Wait, what are you gonna say next? That you should have trans women play trans women characters?
Holy shit. Anyway, I can't believe he appeals to the Matrix. The Matrix is bad. Oh, Neo. What? Oh my god. You're dying. I love you. Oh my god, you're not dying. That's literally what pushes Neo to find out he's the one. Is literally Trinity being like, "I love you."
Well, not just that. And then doesn't she kiss him?
Yeah, no,
And
it's
then-
literally, "I love you. Here's a kiss. Now you're the one." Oh, by the way, Trinity's line about that is oh my fucking god. Trinity's like, Trinity with the logic bomb. "I was told that I love the one, and the one can't die, so I love you. You can't die, you're the one." And then Neo wakes up and he's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, The Matrix has so much good theming, dude. Oh my god. Okay, like
I love once he got into this, we're just like, is he trolling?
Yeah, no, his movie opinions are always bad. I don't understand why. I really don't. I don't know why he makes these kinds of weird leaps for anything other
Well,
for
because
movies.
movies aren't real, so
So we get Destiny's original opinions, the ones he had before he became more progressive.
they like seal his mouth and he's like so fucking out of his league. It's like impossible. It is impossibly horrible how Neo is so fucking behind, right? Because he hasn't even broken out of the Matrix yet, right? And then when Neo starts to learn parts of the Matrix, right? He fights Morpheus and he solidly gets his ass kicked. It's like he gets fucked, right?
He didn't
and then
solidly get his ass kicked by Morpheus.
Yeah,
he
so
lost the
it's
first round and then won the second round. Actually, I think you
mean-
might be able to split that fight up into 3 rounds. He lost the first 2, but then won the third. That's not solidly getting your ass kicked. Yeah, and even if he was, that doesn't necessitate that you got your ass kicked if the other
Yeah.
person's taking it easy on you. I'm pointing out that he doesn't remember this movie. That's why I keep pointing out these issues.
yeah.
they try to run the jump program and he can't jump for shit. He's like fucking horrible, right? And then like in his time in the Matrix, like he goes and he talks to the Oracle and the Oracle's like, "Listen, dude, you're not shit, all right? You're fucking garbage, right?" And all of that is horrible, right? And he's fucked.
What? What a weird way to frame that. He went to the Oracle, and the Oracle told him what he needed to hear, that he wasn't the one, because if he was told that he was the one, the level of pressure that he has and experiences on himself to do the right thing is insurmountable at that point. He's not told you're not the one to take him down a peg. He's actually told he's not the one to bring him up a peg. That movie is just nonstop. "Hey, let me help you, Neo. Hey, let me help you, Neo. Hey, let me help you, Neo." Moving forward.
So Neo is inferior to Morpheus. He is incapable of dealing with the agents, and he can't even like do the jump shit. He can't even jump from one building to the next, right? He can't. He's fucked, right? In almost every way, he's so bad. And then
No, he's... Let's ignore the fact that he bent the spoon before talking to the Oracle.
Well, I mean, we can forget all of the movie.
That's what it seems like. It's like I only remember this movie in a way that makes my narrative work.
Then, with all of that theming in mind, Morpheus gets captured, and then Neo and Trinity save Morpheus, and all of the stuff that we had in our mind before, Neo is able to do now, right? He jumps off the helicopter, he saves.
Yeah, but before that, like, so nothing happened. Like, this is the primary thing that I see you bitch about when you're talking about people like Ray, that there's no journey. There's literally, you suck and now you're good. It was literally like, if we're following his descriptions here, it's literally gets told he sucks. Morpheus gets captured. He's then instantaneously able to run up walls, shoot all those people, kung fu fight at the highest possible level, jump out the helicopter, save Morpheus, do the fucking crazy thing where he's like still attached to the helicopter and like falls to the ground and like detaches himself before the helicopter pulls him down. All of that. There's nothing that changed.
Okay.
Saves, right, to rescue Morpheus. He saves Morpheus, the guy that was his superior. He does it in front of multiple agents, right? All of that, the end is so much greater there, because the more failures that you've had somebody like go through, the more times he fails to jump, he fails to beat Morpheus, he fails to do anything of relevance in the Matrix, he fails to get a good message from the Oracle. All of that failure leads to so much more payoff at the end.
He fails to jump one time. He like, if we're being generous to Destiny's position, he beats Morpheus 1 out of 3 rounds. He bends the spoon before talking to the Oracle. Like, there are way too many hints leading up to this point that let you know that Neo's gonna find a way.
Basically, like, you just like, I want to be able to see, like, in my opinion, what makes like a good hero story is like there has to be a part where the hero is shit compared to something else, and he's way out of his league, and then he overcomes it or learns something about himself or develops something, and then later on reconfronts an obstacle like that earlier one or the same one, and then is able to defeat it. That's like a really satisfying movie to me. And you have to feel like there are parts where like the main character is actually like really weak. Like that's like a really important part of you have to feel like the hero is kind of shit for a while, because when they get really good at the end, then that's like the thing, right? It's good. This is like good hero shit. This is like what should happen, right? Mega Man saving Zero and then overcoming Sigma at the end is kind of similar to Neo saving Morpheus and then overcoming the agents at the end, right? It's like the same type of thing where like early on, right, Neo looks up to Morpheus as like this impossibly powerful dude that he hopes one day maybe he can be as good as, and then there's an enemy that's even stronger than him, right? And then later on, he's the one that saves Morpheus and kills the agents because Neo's like, oh, that's his journey, right?
So we can't talk about how, like, how about the dichotomy about or not dichotomy? How about the plot point in Captain Marvel about how Captain Marvel thought through the greater majority of the movie that the Skrulls were the bad people, but then shows great strength of character by going against what she thought was factually the case, but then moved past that and accepts the Skrulls as the actual good guys, and then overcomes the hive mind intelligence, and then defeats them. It's like the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you view the movie this way? Like, what is preventing you from viewing the movie in the same way that you view movies that you like?
I think Destiny has an emotional view of what has occurred during the movie, and retroactively he goes in and tries to piece together what sort of reasons he feels that way.
Right.
So if he didn't enjoy a movie, which is fine because like everyone enjoys,
you can
or
choose to
doesn't
not enjoy
movies.
a movie, but like to then turn around and be like, well, the reasons why I didn't enjoy it would be the same reasons I enjoyed another film, but in this case they're not good enough for me to enjoy. I don't get this. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Destiny wants every superhero movie to have a cookie cutter story. Nope, that's not what I said at all.
Really, you
Well,
banned?
no.
But that is what you fucking said.
Yeah,
That is the
that
logical
what you said.
extrapolation of what you said. You're like, I need the hero
Yeah.
to first be shitty, and then over time grow into not shitty, and then save the person that helped them not be shitty for it to be a complete journey. That's literally what you fucking said.
Basically, like, you just like, I want to be able to see like in my opinion, what makes like a good hero story is like there has to be a part where the hero is shit compared to something else, and he's way out of his league, and then he overcomes it or learns something about himself or develops something, and then later on reconfronts an obstacle like that earlier one or the same one, and then is able to defeat it. That's like a really satisfying movie to me. Should I ban you?
No, because you're a fucking idiot.
The hero's journey are stories that have been told since the dawn of fucking time.
But they're not cookie
The
cutter.
hero's journey is the type.
See, how can you call, like, oh my fucking god, this is like the dumbest opinion of all time. It's I'm gonna ban somebody, but he didn't. I just want to be clear, he didn't actually ban that person, but he was thinking about banning somebody who called him out for liking cookie cutter stories. And then he's like, but these aren't cookie cutters. They've just been told forever and ever and ever, and that's why they're good. They're not cookie cutter. They're just the same forever. That's what cookie cutter means.
A final fight, a final battle in any like hero's journey-esque story, like it should feel like things have happened.
The final fight scene in Captain Marvel has to deal with Captain Marvel coming to terms with the fact that who she thought she was is in no way, shape, or form who she was. That she's overcoming the obstacle of the incorrect memories that have been poisoned into her mind over so many years, and coming to terms with the fact that this propaganda machine that's been spinning that the Skrulls are actually the bad ones is wrong, and she overcomes all of this deeply ingrained personal and social structure and rallies against it in a real and meaningful and tangible way. We've been told since the beginning that Ronan and his forces are what they believe is to be the arbiters of pure justice in Marvel's world. So, like, they're headed to go kill the Skrulls, and it's on Captain Marvel to choose the correct side and defend the Skrull. This is character development. Because you don't like it, that doesn't make it not character development.
Aren't all the best Marvel movies the ones that don't follow the trope? I mean, I think that this trope is largely positive. I don't remember.
But now he's calling it a trope. You can't say, you can't be like, I'm going to ban somebody for telling me that I like cookie cutter stories, and then say something like, well, these stories have been around since the dawn of time, as far back as Gilgamesh. And then you can't say, well, but these stories, well, this is valid. This structure, this thing that I wasn't calling cookie cutter before is in fact a structure, and it seems pretty valid and okay. Like, the fuck? That's really inconsistent. This was pointless.
Yeah.
Destiny's videos, or not pointless, this was fun. Because Destiny's fucking opinions about movies are absolutely garbage, dumpster fire trash. To recap, Destiny thinks that if you call what he thinks is the hero's journey a cookie cutter hero story, he'll ban you. But he'll also admit that that story has been around since ancient times. He even mentioned Gilgamesh. And then later talked about how it is a trope, but it's an acceptable trope because he thinks it delivers something valuable to the movie. But again, this is not a cookie cutter story. Oh my God, I'll ban you if you call it a cookie cutter story. You either have a cookie cutter story or you don't. It's one or the other. And it's fine either way, to be honest with you. But what's not fine is to assert that it's not a cookie cutter story and be mad when somebody calls you out for liking the cookie cutter story. You need to defend that it's okay to like cookie cutter tropes. It is, when used appropriately and in ways that make valid sense. What's not okay is for you to assert that because a movie doesn't portray the cookie cutter story that you like, that makes it bad. You need to look beyond that. And also, Destiny and many other people need to get past this concept of, I know it's a movie and therefore I have to view it under this concept. Suspend some disbelief and actually try and enter a movie for a change. It'll change your life. Movies are amazing these days, and they're even more amazing when you actually watch them.